guitar I've ever played. Just got a good sound to it.
Willie Nelson's voice has always sounded like the weather in a small Texas town. Rough, honest, and somehow warm enough to forgive you. He taught America how to make sorrow sing and how to find home in a chorus. But what people rarely see beneath the braids and the grin is the quiet war he's been fighting for breath, the slow tally of losses that haunt every verse. This is the story of a man who learned to turn absence into music, who turned ruin into revival, and who still climbs onto stages at 92 because to stop would be the real surrender. He was born into a world that taught him survival before it taught him the alphabet. Abbott, Texas, 1933. Dust, poverty, grandparents who kept 2 children alive while the rest of the world moved on. His mother left. His father disappeared. What remained was a house filled with work and a grandfather whose rough hands left the first warm guitar in Willie's lap. That guitar smelled of iron and the forge. It was handed to a boy who learned early that silence was more terrifying than hunger. When the grandfather died of pneumonia, Willie learned that air itself could betray you, a lesson he would carry his whole life. As a kid, he picked cotton until his hands bled and sang in bars under a single yellow bulb so people would remember he existed. He wasn't chasing fame. He was chasing proof. Proof he mattered. Proof he could breathe through loneliness. By the time he reached Nashville as a young man, he'd already been baptized by hardship. He sold family Bible for a few bucks because groceries mattered more than royalties. Nashville turned him down for sounding too raw, too real. He left with his hat in hand and a stubborn belief that honesty would outlast polish. The 1970s were the crucible that changed him. After his Ridgetop Ranch burned and Nashville shrugged him off, Austin took him in. A messy, electric city that didn't care about suits or charts, only truth. That's where Shotgun Willie and Red-Headed Stranger were born. Albums stripped of pretense that felt like confessionals. He built the outlaw movement not by contrivance, but because he refused to be anyone but himself. Success followed, but it never softened the man. It only widened the stage on which he bore his scars. For Willie, love was as complicated as a chord progression. His marriages read like country songs themselves. Tender beginnings, bitter middles, quiet endings. The first marriage to Martha produced children and learning. The second, to Shirley, shattered with the arrival of a hidden child and a hospital bill that became the line that broke their home. Then Connie arrived later, steadier, forgiving. Annie D'Angelo came even later and finally taught him that loving someone might mean simply staying. Family was both refuge and reckoning. Even when he rebuilt a life, old failures echoed in the empty chairs at holiday dinners. Loss, though, kept coming. Not the headline kind, but the slow, bone-deep ones. His son Billy's death in 1991 left a gap no melody could fill. Paul English, his lifelong drummer and road guardian, provided the steady heartbeat of a chaotic life. When Paul died, the band's rhythm changed in a way fans could feel, even if they couldn't name it. His sister Bobby, the first harmony of his life, slipped away, and with her went the only living witness to the child he had been. And there was the long fight with his own lungs. A boy who traded eggs for cigarettes learned the worst inheritance possible. A family history hammered out in smoke. Emphysema, collapsed lungs, stem cell treatments, medical marijuana for relief. These are the backstage details that the applause doesn't heal. He gave up smoking, took what medicine modern care allowed, and adapted. Yet each performance is now an act of deliberate courage, his breath a battlefield, and his music the battle flag he refuses to lower. If you want the most American part of his story, look at the bankruptcy and the IRS fight. They seized guitars and studios, boxed up what he built. Instead of surrender, Nelson turned the humiliation into a campaign. He recorded material, cut deals, and fans answered, not out of pity, but out of loyalty earned through decades of honesty. He paid the debt back. He reclaimed his ranch. He rebuilt an empire not founded on accumulation, but on endurance, a record catalog, a humble business in sustainable products, a ranch that became sanctuary and stage. Willie's material comforts today are modest by celebrity standards. A Texas ranch that feels like an old movie set, and a handful of properties and businesses tied to his passions. But the real wealth sits on the porch beside Annie. Sons who make music, daughters who carry on the family's work, a foundation that has funneled millions to farmers and veterans. Farm Aid, which he helped found, is not just a charity. It's a moral altar. He turned the cash and credit of the road into something that gives back, and still he moves. In 2024 and 2025, Willie kept stepping out under the lights. Tours, reunion picnics, new records shaped by a voice that has learned to hold more silence between notes. When he plays Trigger, that battered guitar that's part friend, part relic, the crowd understands. This isn't nostalgia, it's communion. He's not singing to be remembered. He's singing to keep memory alive, his and ours. There's an unromantic truth in his life that no highlight reel captures. Resilience is messy. It means waking up and rebuilding, often without applause. It means forgiving yourself in small, inefficient increments after you fail people you love. It means continuing to write songs when the band's van is empty and the bank calls. It means doing the work of being human while the world wants legends to be effortless. Willie never became effortless. He became honest. And that's why he lasts. If you've ever found shelter in a late-night radio, if a lonely highway felt less lonely because he sang over the speakers, then his story is yours too. He is the man who made us believe that psalms could mend what life had torn. He survives not because he has lived carefully, but because he kept breathing despite the ways his breath was stolen and borrowed. Each performance now is a promise he keeps, that even when everything is stripped away, he's not only the last highwayman in a lineage of outlaw poets. He's proof the long road can teach you how to forgive, how to rebuild, how to sing until the breath itself becomes a benediction. If his music has ever kept you from feeling alone, leave something small, a like, a memory in a comment, a line from a song you carry. Because Willie hasn't just given us tunes, he's given us the stubborn courage to breathe and keep going. And that, in the end, is more heroic than any number on a chart.